Hey everybody, Sam here from Sugar Spun Run, and today I'll be showing you how to make banana nut muffins. As some of you know, I already have a banana muffin recipe on my blog. It is super popular, it's gotten rave reviews, but today I am elevating that recipe to new heights by using brown butter and adding nuts to it. To begin, you'll want to preheat your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and now we will brown our butter. You will need 10 tablespoons of unsalted butter for this recipe. You'll need a medium-sized saucepan, and I recommend using a light-colored saucepan when browning your butter. As you can see, I'm using a stainless steel one. I don't recommend using a darker colored one like a cast iron because you won't really be able to tell once your butter has browned. Place your saucepan over medium-low heat, add your butter, and just heat until the butter's melted. Now increase your heat to just above medium, and using a heatproof spatula or a wooden spoon, stir and swirl the butter frequently. You'll notice it begins to sizzle and pop at this point. That's what we're looking for. Do not walk away from your butter at this point. Continue to scrape the bottom and the sides with your spatula or your wooden spoon and cook until the bubbling and popping begins to slow. Once the bubbling and popping begins to slow down, you'll notice your butter is beginning to brown. As you can see, I have some over here on the side that's already begun to brown. We want to see a little bit more of that before our butter's ready. Now keep stirring your butter constantly, and once you see it's browned and you smell a nutty aroma from the butter, immediately remove it from your heat and pour that into a heat-proof bowl. Make sure you get those brown bits out of the bottom of your saucepan because that's what's going to give these brown butter banana nut muffins the best flavor. Now that your butter is browned, you're going to want to set this aside for at least 15 to 20 minutes and allow it to cool back down to near room temperature before we add it to our other ingredients. Now we can grab our bananas. This banana nut muffin recipe uses 3 bananas. We are going to add these to a large bowl and mash them really well. You can use a fork to do this, but I like to use a potato masher. It gets the job done faster. Now add your cooled brown butter. Make sure you get all of those brown bits from the butter and give these a good stir. Add a ½ cup of tightly packed light brown sugar and a ½ cup of granulated sugar. And give everything a good stir. Now you'll need 2 large eggs. I like to lightly beat these with a fork before adding them to my batter. And for best results, your eggs should be at room temperature. You'll want to give the batter a good stir with your spatula at this point until the eggs are well combined into the batter. Now we'll add a full tablespoon of pure vanilla extract and a ¼ cup of buttermilk. I do like this to be at room temperature before adding it to my ingredients. And we will stir everything together again before we prepare our dry ingredients. Now let's move on to our dry ingredients. You will need 2 cups of all-purpose flour for this recipe. Add 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, ½ teaspoon of baking soda, and ½ teaspoon of salt. Give your dry ingredients a good stir until all of the ingredients are well combined. Now we'll want to bring back our wet ingredients and we'll give them another stir real quickly before adding the dry ingredients. Add your dry ingredients. And we will begin to fold the dry ingredients into the wet, and in just a moment we'll add our nuts. You do want to take care not to overmix this batter. Now at this point, when your wet and dry ingredients are about halfway combined, now we will add our nuts. You will need 1¼ cups of chopped nuts for this recipe. Today I'm using walnuts, but I've also used pecans. Either is a great choice. At this point, we are only going to be adding 1 cup of the nuts. I like to reserve a ¼ cup for the tops of the muffins. So we'll add these nuts now. And the reason we're doing this halfway in is because we don't want to wait until we've already combined our dry and wet ingredients completely. Otherwise, we risk overmixing our batter. You don't want to overmix this muffin batter. You could end up with dense, dry muffins if you do that. So add the nuts at this point and continue to stir gently until your ingredients are just combined. Now our banana nut muffin batter is ready to bake. You're going to want to prepare a muffin tin by lining it with paper liners or by gently greasing and flouring each cavity. If you want to use a baking spray, make sure that it is a baking spray that uses flour and not just like a canola spray or a vegetable oil spray or anything like that. Keep in mind that this recipe does make about 18 muffins, so one 12-count muffin tin won't cut it. You'll either need a second baking tin or you'll need to let the first one cool completely before baking the rest of your batter. Now grab those chopped nuts that you reserved from earlier and we're just going to sprinkle them over the top of the muffins. I also like to sprinkle the tops of my banana nut muffins with a little bit of coarse sugar, but this is totally optional. Now we will bake these banana nut muffins in our 425-degree Fahrenheit oven for 8 minutes. Once that 8 minutes has passed, do not remove the muffins from the oven. Instead, reduce your heat to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, do not open the oven door, and continue to bake for another 8 to 10 minutes. What you're looking for is muffins that are just beginning to turn a light golden brown on top, and if you insert a toothpick in the center of one, it should come out with a few moist crumbs, or it should come out clean. There should not be any wet batter on it. Let these muffins cool in their baking tin before enjoying. That is how you make my favorite banana nut muffin. I really hope you guys will try this one out, especially if you already tried and loved my banana muffin recipe that's already on my blog. This one has such an incredible flavor. It's got a great texture. I really think you're going to love it. If you try it out, please leave me a comment and let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.